What's going on, Moon Gang? Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. This is your Dumb Money wrap up for Monday, August 23rd, and we're seeing some very exciting things going on in both AMC and GME. So let's hop right into it. AMC closed out the day at 36.78, which was a gain of 6.9%, and GME closed out the day at 164.89, which was a gain of 3.5%. I am very happy to report that both of these closing levels represent important technical breakouts for both AMC and GME. But before we get into the technicals, the short interest and all of that, there are some other things I want to quickly touch on. First of all, this prompted a little bit of a stir today. This is from Gary Gensler, who is a father of three. He loves running, looking at mountains, and I guess is really into shoes. But anyway, he's the 33rd chairman of the SEC. He tweeted this out today. If someone asks a lawyer, accountant, or advisor if something is over the line, maybe it's time to step back from the line, going right up to the edge of a rule or searching for some ambiguity in the text or a footnote may not be consistent with the law, and its purpose. And then he had a follow-up, and the thing I thought right here was this includes deceptive conduct by private funds offering or accounting frauds, insider trading, market manipulation, failures to act in retail customers' best interest, reporting violations, best execution, and fiduciary violations or any other form of misconduct. So right there, he really did hit on all the things that we've been talking about as an Ape Nation community of like, hang on, there's a lot of this craziness going on, which is helping the playing field of Wall Street remain tilted in the favor of Wall Street insiders, and it's how they make billions and billions of dollars a year. So right there, a big thing is, yes, it is one thing to talk the talk. It's another thing to walk the walk. Personally, I think that Gary Gensler does have our best interest in heart. Do I think he'll be able to execute on it? I mean, I guess time will tell, honestly. I mean, like I said, it is a very different thing. Actions do speak louder than words. And right there, like, there's a question. Is it him? Does he not have the tools or resources? Does he not have generic political support? Does he not have support? Like, are there too many lobbyists on Wall Street really giving money to other political, I guess, pundits and people who have influence that really don't want him to be successful? But whatever it is, maybe I'm a little naively optimistic. I'd like to think that he does have our back. And I hope that I know justice isn't the most swift thing, but I hope it is progressing in the right way. But my opinions aside, Mark Cuban right away threw down the gauntlet on him. He followed up not much long after the original tweet out. This is such bullshit. You didn't start the BS. Please don't continue him. If you were working on behalf of investors, you would make it easy for questions by investors and business people to be asked and answered. You make it near impossible. Those can't afford lawyers can only guess. Right there, I think Mark Cuban also spitting some facts like right there. I would love if there was some sort of public forum where we could ask Mr. Gensler, the chairman, like, what's going on? Have you looked into this? Can you explain more of the plumbing and what you see from the legal aspect of things? I think right here, like I said, I think Gensler is trying to fight for us, but I think Cuban right here really spitting some facts about the current system and good commentary on the system. And it is very, very difficult to speak to and reach to people such as the chairman and get some actual factual answers. So feel free to check it out. These are both live on both of their Twitters still. Anyway, let's switch gears up a little bit to AMC, which had a great day. But before we get into the technicals, I want to quickly address one story. So right here, it seems like every week a new story grasps our community. And I was wondering, I'm like, do I address it? Do I not address it? I just want to make this very swift. Right here, Amazon to buy AMC negotiations reopened, stock valued. This is by Lucas. It came out on August 22nd. So that was on Sunday. No. This was previously discussed. No picture, a website that looks like it came out of the 90s. I see no validity to it. In fact, a lot of the sources right here, if you follow the trail of it, the main source that the crux of this information was written on came back from the Daily Mail back in 2020. Some of the sources were 2018, but just let me correct myself. This is from 2020. So not even really within a year now. And at one point this was discussed. But just so you know, this discussion between Amazon somehow acquiring AMC, it is not new news. In fact, if you look at the news reports of this, no credible source is talking about this at all. And since this was discussed, we have a new kind of issue of the fact that we know from early June that a majority of ownership is from retail investors like you and myself. So at this point, I mean, maybe I'm wrong on this one, but I'm pretty sure that this would have to come to some sort of shareholder vote because we no longer have one single entity such as Wanda that has a controlling vote in AMC. Maybe I'm getting that wrong, but overall, it doesn't really matter because this isn't going to happen. This is not something, maybe it's not the definition of FUD, but this is just, I guess, taking away from the main things that we should be focusing on. So I just want to put this to bed. Amazon to buy AMC, this is not new news. This is actually very old, and the main source is from 2020. May of 2020. So I really would not pay attention to this at all. What we should be talking about is some of the exciting things that we're specifically seeing in AMC's chart. But let me quickly paint a picture for you. The S&P 500, which is very commonly thought to be a barometer for the overall stock market, hit a new all-time high today of 448. And right here, I think it's going to keep trucking up to the all-time high of 450. And remember, this is the week of the Jackson Hole Symposium, where the Federal Reserve is going to be talking and hopefully coming up with some sort of reasonable plan for their tapering of asset purchases without blowing up the entire stock market. But right now, obviously, there's quite a bit of optimism coming into this. And even though this is a new all-time high, ding, 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 winner, winner, chicken dinner, I do believe there's going to be some sort of key psychological resistance at the nice round value of 450. But the strength in the S&P 500 is pouring over into the strength of the Russell 2000, which is tracking 2,000 small cap stocks. And this is important because AMC happens to be one of those 2,000. Nice gap up and continuation. Closed out the day at 219.62. I think its next stop is going to be around 221. Not only is this previous support, resistance, it is also roughly lining up with this trend line. So I want to see how it reacts there. If you look for a breakout around 224, 225, that would bode very well for AMC. But even that, we are seeing strength. But this is the level I would particularly be watching on the ETF IWM, which is tracking the Russell 2000 index, but we are seeing strength in the market, the broad, larger market. Now let's switch it up to AMC. Before we get into the charts, just very quickly so you know the Ortex data. Today there was a net return of 1.4 million shares, with borrowed shares being 2 million. Very friendly reminder, the return shares of 3.3 million. This is a combo of two things. Shares that went out on loan, were never short, and are simply being returned, or shares that went out on loan, went short, were covered at earliest 2 days ago and are now being returned. This is in no way saying that 3.3 million shares were shorted that were covered today on Monday, August 23rd. But anyway, with all of that, the short interest on AMC is 17.95%, utilization above 90, and shares on loan just south of 107 million. Here is the daily look at AMC. Let me quickly hide all of the technicals just so you can kind of see what's going on. We had this massive ramp up at the end of May into early June. Then I got hit, consolidated. We went from a bull trend, consolidation, to a bear trend. And over the past week, we've seen some things actually start to shift. And that's why I've been talking about, hang on, the momentum is going from bears in control to it seems like the apes are starting to get the upper hand. Reason for that is we've been testing this. This was the 1, 2, 3rd. This is the 4th/5th official test of this trend line. And today, I'm pretty decent volume. I mean, AMC did trade 75 million shares. We closed above that trend line. So I wouldn't say this is a confirmed technical breakout yet. We have to see what actually happens tomorrow. Obviously, there are things such as fake technical breakouts, but overall, we closed above it. That is a big win for the AMC apes. The RSI, we have a lot of room to go before it's overbought. And let me quickly show you what's going on with the MACD right here. Before, I was talking about using this as a nice indicator of like, okay, we have this bullish trend in the green, we had a bearish trend in the red. Well, we're still holding the bullish green trend right here. So there are various technical indicators we see, whether it's technical breakouts, the RSI, MACD, we are seeing that the apes, the bulls, are currently in control and kind of have been ever since August 11th, August 12th, this double, triple bottom around 30. We put in a higher low. We're above this trend line. And as we can see on the smaller time frame right here, We were rejected at 38. This is exactly the level that I've been calling out in my technicals, the technical breakdowns. We saw this run up. We ran into resistance at 38, also aligning with this trend line. We took a breather. The RSI did go oversold. We bounced off of that. At first, I was watching this breakout of the trend line in the low 36s. It struggled there on an intraday basis and then finally ripped, and we got a double rejection going on at 38. And as you can see, 38 is becoming overwhelmingly important. Resistance, 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 resistance. So for me, the game plan is to see a test and fingers crossed, a breakout of 38. And then from there, we'll be watching the region of 40 to 42. 42 would represent a major technical breakout. And then for me, in my opinion, that would set up a test of 46. But we'll talk about that when the time gets closer. In terms of support for tomorrow and for the remainder of the week, let's watch 36. It's the breakout level. We see some support. We see some resistance. We see some consolidation in the extended hours trading back here on August 10th. Overall, the main support level I'm watching is 36. The main breakout level I'm watching is 38. That's my game plan as we proceed with the remainder of the week. But overall, AMC, it's safe to say that the bulls, the apes, still have the momentum and things are nicely trending in our direction. Now let's talk about GME. Here is a quick look at its daily chart, bigger view. But before we do a breakdown on this, as you can see, it has had a pretty nice breakout. Quickly with the Ortex. Today, there was a net borrow of 40,000 shares. The short interest is 11%. Utilization 37.6%. Shares on loan of just over 7 million. Now, once again, back to the charts. We've been watching. This is a very nice breakout on GME. Not only are we getting out of this wedge, but look, ever since August 9th all the way up to August 18th, it could not get above 164, and it definitely didn't close above 164. And yet today, we broke above it. We had this trend line breakout, the resistance breakout. This is actually the highest closing value we've had since July 29th on GME. This is very, very good for GME. Very good. Let's go to a smaller time frame just so we can see what's going on here. All this battle at 164, never a nice close. Today, we broke above it. We came above the resistance. Yes, the RSI is a little overbought right now, so maybe it needs to take a half-day breather or something like that just to give the RSI some time to cool off, or maybe it doesn't care about the technicals at all. Maybe people are going to see this breakout and be like, we like this, we like the risk-reward setup, and we could see this rip. But overall, AMC and Jimmy both having very strong days, percentage-wise, both in the green, nicely in the green, but it's even better when you look at the technical development in the charts. I think there's many people that have been sitting on the fences and saying, is this my trade? Is this not my trade? I don't know if I want to get involved. And after today, Monday's action, I think a lot of people are starting to get excited. And maybe if they've been kind of teetering on the edge, this might be what we finally need to see some even more strong momentum follow through. So this, to me, in my book, as you can tell, very, very excited for how we started this week off. And I'm even more excited to see what the remainder of the week brings. But overall, AMC looking good, GME looking good. And I would love to get your thoughts in a comment below. If you want to help me out with the algorithm, you will know all that good stuff, all that type of engagement. And until I catch you next time, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.